Hi, welcome to Siffany's Walk with Grace.
Hello.
So we've kind of come across our first year anniversary of doing this.
Ooh it, ooh it.
Yeah.
Party.
So I thought it would be a good time to just kind of reflect, maybe reaffirm what our goal is. I thought we could reflect on, what this year has been like for us doing Siffany's Walk with Grace and kind of reaffirm our goals and see if, how we started is still kind of what we're doing, or if anything has kind of morphed, because I think that often happens. You begin thinking you're going to be doing one thing and focusing here and wind up kind of, a year later, are we still on that same path or has our path changed at all? Um, but that's what I thought we would do today. So.
I like that. And reflection is a really big deal. And a lot of times we get so busy, we forget to reflect, we forget to reevaluate. And sometimes we get lost because of it.
Exactly. And I think, oh my gosh, it is so important to look backwards and to, see the steps that you've made because I think oftentimes we don't think we're advancing the way we want to, certainly not as quickly as we want to, or, we think we haven't made big enough steps. But I think oftentimes if we look back, we can really notice, and there's a lot of research out there and all kinds of things that says, those baby steps are the things that really, really matter,
Mm-hmm.
and that those baby steps grow exponentially before you know it. It doesn't really feel like it while it's happening, but when you can look back, given a nice space of time, you'll see them. So,
So going along with what Grace is saying, I do I have an interesting way of marking my little bitty baby steps because I have that problem where I have a very hard time looking at the big picture. I learned this from I want to say it was the Full Circle songwriters course that I took. So it looks like an absolute train wreck, right? What it is, all my stickies went the other way. Goals and dreams. Okay. And then you got pending and completed. And as time goes on, you're going to add goals, you're going to add dreams, and then they're eventually going to start scooting over here and you can see them build up. And it's a very nice visual of the little baby steps that you've accomplished. So, like under my completed first requested headline, first song working for hire, first EPK request, a website, a song sent in for a review, completing a book. And that's completing, not publishing, not editing, I mean, it depends on how you look at it. Some people would consider that completing, but in my mind, for my list, which is all that matters, I completed that novel the minute I got done writing it. Editing isn't the same as actually putting the story on paper. So in my mind, I finished that book. It's slowly building and it's beautiful to watch.
wow, that is seriously cool, Tiffany. I love it. I
I'd never
love the
heard of it before and I was like, dude, that looks like it'll fit me perfectly.
Yeah, I totally can see that. I love the visual of it. I'm very visual. I think you're obviously very visual, and visualizations really help me. And the kinetic piece.
Mm-hmm.
So, what there's like three ways of learning. I don't know. Auditory, visual, and kinetic is to me touching, using. Yes. And so you've incorporated all that in there, and that's cool. So if you can learn by bringing all the different pieces and parts in there, the better off, the more it's going to gel for you.
I didn't even
So,
think about it that way, but that would make sense why that helps so much.
yep. The only thing missing is the auditory, but
But I mean, you can always speak it out while you write it too.
absolutely, Absolutely. And talking about it like you just did, being able to share it, sharing something that we've learned is also, I mean, that's a really big technique. We're all doing it. We do it when we share, just in our everyday interactions with each other. But to purposely do that, that's really neat.
Well, thank
So
you.
very cool. Okay. That's my homework.
I have to add to it too.
Yeah.
I haven't messed with it in a little while, so I got to do some edits.
Yeah. Oh, neat. Well, I would love to see that. So really you could do that for like all of life or a certain sector in a life
Yep,
or
you could do it. You could even be like vacation goals and dreams, like, and and make that your visual for why you're saving all your money for a vacation when there's still stuff you want. Or you could do it for like job related goals and dreams. Maybe you're a nurse, but your goal is to get all the way up there to like neurosurgeon, but you're doing nursing to get through school. So your goal would be to complete school would be one of them. Your dream would be neuroscience and whatever neurosurgery, and then you'd have all the baby steps along the way that you get to add. So maybe you finished your first year in college, that's a baby step. Maybe you got noticed by a professor for going above and beyond on something, or you discovered something crazy. Those are all things that you could add to it. Or even as simple as like getting a new car. It doesn't have to be crazy and extravagant. It doesn't have to look like this train wreck. It can be simpler. It doesn't have to be that crazy. This is my artistic goals and dreams list. There's a lot. So
wow. I love it. I
that one
love
is
it.
solely for my art.
How cool. So do you have others?
I actually don't, but I should. And I just got this little plaque at the dollar store. I mean, it's not like I did anything
Yeah.
crazy. And then just the single sticky notes that they sell them, the small
Yep.
strips.
I love it. So you're also showing how, simple, inexpensive it can be.
Oh yeah, you could
Um,
even just use a piece of paper and then get like tape and do it that way. I mean, you don't
yeah.
even have to have a whiteboard or anything behind it. That's just easier for me to hang up at my house is all.
Right, right. Just and to keep it out in the open if you can, or in
Yes.
a journal that you look back on often.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow, that's so cool. We should make one for Tiffany's Walk with Grace, me and you.
We should. I'm down.
Okay. All right. So we're on it. And audience, I would love it for you guys to maybe play along with us. So that's Tiffany and I's
Yeah, let
homework.
us know. Is it working for you? Have you tried it before? Do you have something similar that you want to share that maybe is another alternative that people could try? We'd love to hear it.
Yeah, would love to. Would love to.
But definitely let us know how it works for you if you give it a shot.
Yeah, I really like that. I like it. Um, okay, so back to Tiffany's Walk with Grace, kind of our goals and kind of where we've been. So if we had one of those boards, this would be an easier process for us
It
because
would.
really we kind of just have to go back through our heads, don't we? Kind of, oh, let's see, well, where were we a year ago? How are we now? That kind of thing. But do you feel like we've met our goals? See, I wish I had a little whiteboard that had these little sticky notes.
Right. Well, I mean, I think we said before that, we would be happy even being able to touch one life. And I feel like we've already received enough validation that I think we might have hit even a few more than one, which is awesome. And we agreed from the beginning, even if it was just me and Grace that got something out of it, who cares? Someone still benefited from it. And
Yeah.
so I think we've already kind of gotten more viewers and more affected more lives
Followers.
positively than we initially were like, all right, let's aim for this. But I don't know if we necessarily had a goal either for
Yeah.
that, like how many or anything.
Yeah, no, we didn't. We didn't go into the numbers game. We just felt like
It was for us to share with
it's
others if they chose.
uh-huh. Yeah, and a year ago, prior to starting Tiffany's Walk with Grace, we've realized for a while that when we get on the phone and we just start talking, good things come up. And that has been very beneficial for us. And I think that was part of our goal too, was to invite others into our processes,
Mm-hmm.
not as a, hey, we've arrived at some special place in life, but more to me, to the point of, we're always moving. And you and I, with this process with Siffany's Walk with Grace, is just kind of showing some of that movement
Mm-hmm.
and, finding things out for ourselves. And hey, I've been doing this and look what happened. And hey, have you thought about this? And yeah, we bring in principles, but they're principles that we use ourselves. We don't ever bring anything on here that we've never tried, unless we say that we've never tried this.
And I will say most of the time when we have a talk on here, it's usually because we had a talk on the phone within a couple days beforehand. And we were going through something that was relevant to what we chose to discuss, or a loved one was. And so realistically, like every time we come on here, it's because these are things going on in our everyday lives that we feel like we know other people struggle with, and perhaps we can lend a different perspective that might lend some aid.
Yep. And as we're doing that, this is something I shared with you, I think, a couple days ago, how important it is to remember and to think about the idea that you're never 100% a teacher or 100% a student, that really life is about both, and this tandem of both. I am both teaching and learning. And the best way to learn something is to actually teach it. So it is this constant kind of tandem. And that's something that I definitely want others to get a sense of as they're watching us and kind of keeping up with us, is to kind of watch that tandem. I don't feel like I know any more than Siffany, other than maybe a little, I do have a little wisdom with age, but that is also part of the process. But you teach me all the time. So it's not just here's Grace coming in to show everybody how it's done, and Siffany's going to be the learner along the way. It's not that. And I really want to impress that, especially on parents. And I think that's the important thing about our show too, the fact that we're mother-daughter. You
Yes.
have been my teacher from day one. I never saw you as, it's my goal to impress upon you everything that I've learned, and that's it. Like, I knew going into being a mother that I had a lot to learn, that there, you know, you taught me along the way. And so I learned to be a more receptive kind of teacher. I didn't ever want to say, this is how it is and this is how it's going to be. So I think that's changing over the generations.
I agree. And I think it's really important for us to do that, to remember that, like, I mean, at the end of the day, so much changes just in 10 years. So the time that you were in high school, there was probably, granted, there's probably quite a bit of similarities. Kids have always been bullies, kids have always been picked on, stuff like that. The teachers are always having to be firm because kids can get unruly and crazy. There's certain things that stay the same, but there's a lot of things that differ as well, even just in that environment, if you think about it that way. So you might have an impression that maybe school plays out this way, and oh, you do know why your kid's upset, but at the end of the day, school's so different. You might actually be completely wrong. There might be something going on that you never would have even thought about because of all the changes in societal life, like not
Mhm.
even just in yourself.
Yeah.
And the younger
Well,
generations are going to find some of that newer stuff because they themselves are newer.
yeah. Yes, I think that's a really good point. And I'm hungry for that. I love that piece of life that newer generations, if you're open to it, are there to teach. So yes, I have some wisdom to impart, but you bring in a ton of wisdom. And I think that's why I feel like I am anyway, very in tune and grateful and excited for the younger generations. And I look for those patterns, like, what was it like for me? What is it like for you? And to see the things that the younger generations are trying to bring in and trying to change and how they're doing it. I think it's fascinating.
Yeah, and I do feel like too, that if we didn't accept the younger generations, would we have automobiles? Would we have solar
Sure.
panels? Would we have one I'm not on board with, AI? Look, iRobot was the most terrifying movie I've ever seen, and I am a horror movie fanatic. That movie scared the crap out of me. I am not on board with AI. Let it be known. I get it, but I don't get it. But at the end of the day, AI would not exist if people did not welcome this new idea.
Absolutely.
A
Absolutely.
perfect example, even if I'm not on board.
Yeah. But I forget iRobot. For me, it was my generation. It was Terminator. Like if you're
Yeah.
right, I mean,
Fair enough. See, I think iRobot scared me so much because instead of just one of these things, it was like a whole armada.
uh,
I think that's
yeah,
why it scared me more because I was like, oh, and then when they started climbing up the building like spiders, it just made it worse. I'm
yeah.
arachnophobic in case nobody knows that.
Okay, any other goals? What other goals? Always here just to help and connect.
I think we've gotten better with having a flow and
Mhm.
kind of keeping on track, which is awesome. I mean, just starting out, the way we talk on the phone is kind of how we were doing it because that is what's natural for us. And we're still mostly on that level, but instead of getting sidetracked, we tend to stay a little more on track, which I'm sure you guys probably appreciate. Thanks for sticking with us. We appreciate you. Um Personally, one of my goals was to better myself too.
Mm,
Because I mean, if the goal is to help improve lives, why not make it to also improve your own? And I do feel like I have come very far with that. Um, I'm in pursuit of a lot of things right now. I am more at peace. I am handling the stupidity that surrounds me better, which is really cool. I'm not going to go into detail, but that's awesome that I'm able to be like, when it happens, instead of just being like, rage. They used to just go into like She-Hulk smash mode, and that's not happening anymore.
mm.
So, and I just watched She-Hulk. That's where that came from, by the way. Love the show. Love it. Love it.
You know,
Tangent.
personal growth, yes. I mean, I've always known the principle, like when I was counseling, that there was kind of that give and take there. But it was more silent on my end because I didn't share my processes in counseling. That's more what I do with you. But I was very aware of my own growth. And I don't know that I was aware of that when we started Siffany's Walk with Grace, but I am becoming more aware of that. So I suppose like one of my personal goals was to get better at communicating because that one's really tough for me. I've kind of been, you know, in my own little shell and hiding under rocks and just kind of being in my own world for 9 years. And I'm hungry to get back out there. I don't know what other way of saying it. So this process has been very helpful to me for that piece. And I have noticed I'm gaining confidence.
I've noticed
And
that too.
have
And
you?
you're more comfortable, I feel like.
Yeah, yep, I felt more comfortable being on screen, because in the beginning that was really terrifying for me.
I never thought I'd see the day. It was hard enough to get you in a picture.
Yep.
We used to have to fight her, guys. Like, no, come on. Unless it was like a holiday and she was like really dolled up. We used to have to, it was a battle to get a picture.
Yes, it was.
And I love it. I love it though, because these are gonna be things like and think about this too when it comes to personal growth, whatever that you document that you grew through in your life, your kids can look back later. And like realistically, I'm not gonna lie to you. One of the things I'm most thankful for about this show is that when you are gone, I will get to see you and hear your wisdom whenever I want. I do not have to sit there and look for a video in a cassette or something that was a home done, or look through DVDs, and I can just pull up a video and there you are. And
Hmm.
your beautiful energy is going to be with it, and that excites me.
Hmm. Oh, that is so sweet.
I'm
I,
serious, and the girls will have it too. We all will. Your grandchildren will all be able to look
yeah.
back, and we'll all have you still. And that to
Oh,
me means more than any lesson that we could possibly go through here.
yeah. I love that, Siffany. And if I were to be completely honest, I that was probably one of my goals too, even if it wasn't so much conscious for me. Um, because we know that's I think maybe another goal that we have is getting good with life, right? Knowing that death is, or that may
Inevitable.
be one of the things that our program has kind of morphed into a little bit, or at least as of late. But yeah, what do I want to leave behind? I'm not real big on material kind of things. So what is it? And for me it's about memories, and then yeah, something like this I guess would be some of the same. I suppose if I were honest, yeah, I could see you guys coming back to this.
Oh, I
So
promise you we would be. I
yeah,
would
you're
be,
gonna make me
the girls
cry
would come to me like, Sissy, run! And I'd be like, hey, watch this video and shoot them a link.
and shoot him a link. Yeah, that makes me feel, I don't even know, humbled. Thank you. I just feel very blessed to be able to do this.
And thank you, because it means a lot to me, and I know it will them too.
Yeah, and same.
Yeah,
Um,
and I mean, if something happens to me and I get plowed by a semi truck or something, I swear that's how I'm gonna go. That's why I always go to that one. But like, I'll be here too.
yeah. So make those videos, people. It's really good.
Even if
Someday,
you just keep them in stock on your computer, at least you have them. We're on Zoom right now recording. It's super easy. I don't even pay for a membership. You don't have to pay for
yeah,
it. You can, just be there for
yeah,
each other. Even if you just record a quick little like I love you at the end, that way you have that. That's better than nothing, guys.
yeah, yep,
And I have a really crappy memory. So part of it for me was I don't want to forget. And
yeah,
this makes it a lot easier.
yeah. Very cool. Very cool.
Yep.
Okay.
I think right now, personally, my biggest goal with Tiffany's Walk with Grace is to start reaching some more people. And eventually, I would absolutely love to see us be able to do like a seminar or something, or even like a suicide prevention speech in schools or whatever. But it's not something I'm actively seeking out, but it is, I think, a dream of mine.
Yes, you have mentioned that kind of goal dream for this whole year. And for this whole year, I've been like hopefully outwardly I don't look, but for me, and maybe that's something about goals is put it out there. No matter how wild or whatever that it seems. For me, that's a long-term goal, which is probably why I'm like, but I also understand that, that it'll happen when it needs to. So maybe one of our final goals, um, both of us, but you in particular, have gotten way better with these videos. And so I don't know. I think that's kind of one of your one of your strengths is, and you've always kind of been in the music scene and that kind of thing. So, but I've noticed it's getting better.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
And I will say part of that, guys, a lot of people get scared when they see those things pop up like, oh, try this master class. I took the Full Circle Music songwriters course. Absolute best thing I've ever done for my music. Currently trying to figure out audio production. That's a lot harder for me. But that's my current endeavor that is being pursued. Although this one is not through a masterclass, just to throw that out there. But that masterclass, it changed my life. My songwriting skills just skyrocketed in a month. In a month, it was insane. And
Wow.
it taught me so much because I didn't really do music in school. I think I took 1 year's worth of choir and that was it. And then I so like this is all self-taught stuff. Minus that master class there. So yeah, don't be afraid to reach for your dreams. I've been pursuing it since I was 18, and I'm definitely not famous. I definitely do not have a mansion. I do not drive a Ferrari. I do not have a 56 Firebird sitting in my yard ready to go to a car show like I want. But but I'm still in pursuit.
You're still in pursuit and you're doing what you love, and
We got
that
less than a
will,
minute.
yep. Okay. Well,
Sorry.
very cool. So we'll have to check back in next year and see how everybody's doing.
Yeah.
And see how we're doing and look at our goals again. So
Well, thank you for listening and watching. And what are your goals?
yeah, share us some of your goals. We would love to hear.
Thank you for watching.